right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Super soaker, the most rain from any system in 2 months. When the rain will be winding down and what changes are next.
Tonight, a man is behind bars accused of strangling his girlfriend and torturing her young son for months.
It's a very disturbing case.
The prosecutor calling it one of the worst crimes he's ever seen. Plus, services severed. The dispute tonight leading to layoffs and a big change on how St. Louis students get to school. But first tonight, the gusty winds are dying down, but rain continues to fall on St. Louis as big changes move in overnight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. Much colder air is now moving in, so let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell with that Weather First forecast.
Well, we have temperatures that are down into the 50s in St. Louis, but you don't have to go too far to get it much colder. And tomorrow, we're going to feel some of that chill in the St. Louis area. We've had a good soaking rain, though, and that is badly needed. It's the most rain we've had since back in January. So at Lambert tonight, with the rain, flights are coming and going, but some minimal delays across the area. You can see the rain spreading through the bi-state area. Heaviest now tending to shift east away from St. Louis, but we're still looking at rain around the metro area. And when we look back to the west, that back edge of the rain, well, it's pushing in towards, let's say, Union down to Sullivan, but it's moving more northeast than it is to the east. So it's a slow process to get it to end. Probably have about another hour and a half in St. Louis before it comes to an end. West of town, though, a good soaking 1 to 2 inches of rain. Over 2 inches in Rolla, in St. James, close to it out in Warrenton and Wentzville. Even in the metro area, we are now pushing close to an inch of rain. We're in the mid-40s now. Look at the snow back across parts of Nebraska and Kansas, and it is in the 20s there. We will get that cool down by tomorrow afternoon. We're only in the 40s for most of the day tomorrow. Lots of clouds and a breeze, but we will dry out. We'll see in a few minutes. We'll talk more about the changes as we head towards the upcoming weekend.
More troubles tonight for the bus company responsible for getting St. Louis public school students to and from school.
Missouri Central has terminated its contract with the district. This comes amid allegations of racial discrimination at the bus garage. New tonight, Laura Barteski is here with what is next for drivers and students.
Mike and Kelly, the contract was supposed to go through the 2024-2025 school year, but now it could end as soon as the middle of July. St. Louis Public Schools says it's been a tumultuous 2 school years dealing with Missouri Central School Bus Company, saying in a statement Monday afternoon, Missouri Central's inability to maintain enough drivers to transport the students of SLPS has been well documented. They report that the driver shortage makes it economically unviable for them to honor their agreement. The district says they were given no notice that the company would be making this public announcement. Missouri Central said in that letter, despite good faith efforts by both sides, the parties were unable to negotiate mutually agreeable terms. That means they're going to permanently close the Spring and Hall Street locations, leaving 332 people without jobs. SLPS says they've been negotiating with the bus company since December when they demanded an additional $2 million. Then in February, mechanics for the company raised concerns about racial discrimination, even finding a noose near a workstation, which led to a driver walkout. For 2 days, thousands of students had no transportation to school. Parents are already tired of the uncertainty.
Once in a while is understandable, but consistently it affecting our jobs.
So for us, it's just really challenging because we have 2 people in our household who both work, and as much as I have a lightly flexible work schedule, it is asking a lot to ask my supervisors frequently to be able to adjust my schedule in order to be able to leave early from work in order to come and pick up.
The district says last week the company told them the controversy, quote, provided irreparable harm to their reputation and said they could no longer work with St. Louis Public Schools. St. Louis Public Schools says they're starting the search for a new transportation company as the agreement with Missouri Central will only last through the summer school. They are currently working on other temporary solutions just in case there's another disruption, and they hope to provide another update this Friday.
Thanks, Laura. New tonight, the Edwardsville School Board gave the green light to a gender-neutral restroom. It will be built in the Commons area of Edwardsville High School. The design calls for private, fully enclosed, single-use toilet stalls. The sinks will be located in a common area opened to the lobby and hallway.
Tonight, a man is behind bars accused in a violent two-county crime spree. Investigators say Stephen Deering beat a woman unconscious at a Maplewood business on Friday afternoon. A short time later, investigators believe he assaulted an elderly woman at her home in Barnhart and stole her car. He's accused of crashing that stolen car into another home in Barnhart and taking 3 young children hostage. Jefferson County Sheriff Deputy Christopher Guerin arrived moments later and kicked down the door to save those kids and arrest Deering. Tonight, a North St. Louis County man wanted for strangling his girlfriend, beating and tying her young son to a pole, is now in jail. New tonight, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend has more on the disturbing allegations and charges. Robert.
Mike, for months, Rodney Wilson had been on the run from police, but Friday, officers tracked him down. The alleged abuse Wilson inflicted on his girlfriend and her child has left the St. Louis County prosecutor shaking his head. This is a mugshot of suspect Rodney Wilson. He's facing a long list of charges, including abuse or neglect of a child, kidnapping, and assault. Wilson is accused of terrorizing his girlfriend and her 8-year-old son.
It's a very disturbing case.
According to a probable cause statement in July of last year, Wilson allegedly tied his girlfriend's child to a pole in a basement, blinded and gagged the child, and struck him with a wooden stick. Police also say between August and September, Wilson beat the child again, poured various substances on him, and cut the boy's scalp with a blade. Investigators say the alleged abuse took place in the North County home where the mom and her son lived.
How someone can do these types of things, allegedly, to a child or what have you, is just beyond comprehension.
Investigators also say Wilson strangled the woman in September and last month. They tell us the child witnessed the first attack on his mom.
She is still in the hospital from injuries that we believe the defendant is responsible for. We're very confident in the strength of the evidence. And we intend to hold this defendant fully accountable.
Bill says at one point Wilson left the St. Louis area and took off to Las Vegas. On Friday, St. Louis County Police arrested him at a home in South St. Louis.
And again, we're going to do everything that we can to bring justice to the victims in this case.
Investigators say officers previously responded to calls to that home, including one in 2021 when Wilson allegedly punched the woman's sister in her face multiple times. Wilson is now locked up and being held without bond.
Tonight, charges have been filed against 4 people in connection to a shooting inside a Metro East bowling alley. Investigators say the gunfire inside St. Clair Bowl earlier this month stemmed from a fight. 2 bystanders were treated for gunshot wounds to their legs. Mikhail Davis of St. Louis is in the St. Clair County Jail tonight, charged with unlawful use of a firearm. 3 others are also wanted in the case. Investigators say there's no evidence the gunfire was connected to a large fight in the same night in the bowling alley involving a group of young women. Tomorrow morning, opening statements will begin in the trial of a man accused of murdering a St. Charles woman and keeping her body in his bedroom for days. Joseph DeJoy is accused of killing Jackie Mitchell last year. She was missing for days before police found her body in his Maryland Heights apartment. He faces 11 felony charges, including second-degree murder, kidnapping, and rape.
An historic North St. Louis church will be torn down after a fire last week. It was the 3rd fire in 2 years at the former St. Augustine Roman Catholic Church. The building at the corner of Lismore and Hebert has sat vacant for years despite community efforts to save it. The city, which now owns the property, says it's at risk of collapsing and needs to be demolished. About an hour ago, a meeting wrapped up in Creve Coeur where neighbors voiced their concerns about a proposed mixed-use development.
It will be built on the former 96-acre Bear campus on the southwest corner of Olive and Lindbergh. 5 on your side's Andy Kroll was at tonight's meeting.
At this meeting on Monday night, Creve Coeur city leaders are potentially deciding how to use millions of dollars in real estate taxes as well as a special sales tax to help developers with this project to turn it into apartments, townhomes, and retail shops, plus much more by the time they're done. The project comes with a price tag close to $985 million for the Olea Village at the previous Bayer's North American headquarters. Also adding luxury hotels and office buildings may need city council help to foot the bill. Approving an abatement of $86 million to reduce property tax payments for years with this project to help developers with the cost was on the table. Plus a 1-cent sales tax proposed by Fireside Financial for up to 25 years. Representatives from the private equity real estate firm Jack Matthews Development tried to help explain how these steps and recommendations for cost control came about, but some members of the community are still hesitant.
So to get to this meeting, it's taken us 18 months. This plan requires incentives to offset the extraordinary costs, and the project can't move forward without it.
The problem is it's being presented as, let's take what the developers offered, or we've got nothing because we have a vacant piece of ground. But this is a prime piece. There were more than one developer. We're trying to get it in the first place, and there are other options.
After this public hearing, Creve Coeur City Council members are expected to discuss and take a final vote on April 8th. Reporting in Creve Coeur, Annie Krall, 5 on your side.
From Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime.
They're easy to sign up for, but hard to cancel.
I know I pay for things I don't use.
Tonight, 3 easy ways to unsubscribe from your digital accounts. You can wear your sunglasses at night, but not during next month's eclipse. The warning tonight from eye doctors.
Just 2 weeks from the solar eclipse. Too soon to speculate on the cloud cover for April 8th, but we know what's happening for the rest of the week after tonight's rain moves out. We'll see you in 7 minutes.
A legal win and loss tonight for former President Donald Trump. Today, a New York appeals court cut his nearly $500 million bond to $175 million.
President Trump says he'll pay to avoid having his assets seized as he seeks an appeal in his civil fraud case. In another New York courtroom today, a judge denied a delay in his criminal hush money case. The former president is accused of falsifying business records to cover up an affair with Stormy Daniels. The former president calls the trial election interference. Critics say he's not the victim.
What they do is they do election interference, which is court cases, and let's try and tie him up, and let's take as much of his money as possible.
It's about an effort to pull the wool over the eyes of voters, to ensure that they didn't have access to important information about a candidate.
This will be the first of 4 criminal trials the presumptive Republican nominee could face ahead of the 2024 election.
Just hours ago, federal agents raided 2 homes on opposite coast owned by rapper Sean Diddy Combs. Feds were seen outside his homes in Los Angeles and Miami today. The federal investigation comes after a wave of civil lawsuits accusing the music mogul of sex trafficking, sexual assault, and the solicitation and distribution of illegal narcotics. Take a close look at your credit card bill. You may find a few surprises in the form of forgotten monthly subscriptions.
If you can't quite figure out how to cancel, you're not alone. Tonight, Consumer Reports has some ways to slim your subscriptions and save yourself some money.
From Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Peacock. I have a editing software. Hi guys, it's Leanne. I have a link tree to all of my social media accounts.
Every month, Leanne Potter pays for a lot of online subscriptions.
I know I pay for things I don't use.
Consumer Reports has 3 ways to find and cancel unwanted subscriptions. First, divide and conquer. Identify all your subscriptions. Check your credit card statements for recurring payments.
One easy way to do this is to use a subscription tracking tool such as Rocket Money or One Main Trim, which help you find and then cancel subscriptions you no longer want.
Number 2, opt out. To see a list of apps you're currently paying for through Apple Pay, for example, open the App Store on your phone, click Account, then Subscriptions. From there, click Cancel on those you're done with. By the way, these steps are similar for the Google Play Store. Finally, get organized and keep track of discounted or free trial periods. When you cancel, sometimes you get a don't go offer for a free extension or discount. If you accept, set a calendar alert for 2 or 3 days before the end date of the promotion. The same goes for any free trial subscription that you might sign up for. Setting an alert for when you need to cancel will help you juggle multiple trials at a time, and your future self will thank you.
I'd love to have something warm me.
And if you want to take your digital house cleaning a step further, check out Permission Slip by Consumer Reports. It's a free app that lets you control what data you share with companies you do business with. Last year, the Federal Trade Commission proposed a click-to-cancel provision, which would let you cancel subscriptions as easily as you were able to sign up.
The Great American Eclipse is 2 weeks from today. It is important to remember it is only safe to look up at the sun during those short few minutes of totality. Unprotected sun exposure can damage your retinas. Doctors warn that can lead to blind spots, distorted vision, and altered color perception.
Damage can occur in under a minute with prolonged exposure. Patients can cause sometimes even permanent damage to their retina. Things like the lens or the cornea in the front of the eye can be replaced or transplanted, but the retina cannot.
Remember, totality won't happen here in the metro area, so you will need ISO certified eclipse glasses during the entire event. Your regular glasses or sunglasses just won't cut it. Look for the number 12312-2. You can reuse your glasses from the partial eclipse in 2023 if they're not damaged. But if you still have glasses from 2017, throw them out. The St. Louis Public Library is giving away free eclipse glasses. They're available at all branches while supplies last. You're limited to 1 pair per person in your immediate household. And for more info on eclipse glasses and the best spots to view the celestial event in Missouri and Illinois, text the word eclipse to 314-425-5355 and we'll send you a link.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with that weather first forecast, and you better bundle up tomorrow because it's going to hit you in the face a little bit, Scott.
It is going to be a bit on the chilly side, and it really doesn't warm up much tomorrow. And hopefully, as we had 2 weeks from today, it's not as cloudy as it was today. You know, the eclipse about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on the 8th. On a day like today, it would just get dark, and that would be about it. You wouldn't be able to see much. So at the moment, we're looking at this rain, heaviest of which is now on the Illinois side of the metro area. Back edge is getting closer to Metro St. Louis. We have about another hour and 15 minutes in the metro for another maybe 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch of rain, with the heaviest amounts off to the east of St. Louis. Again, as we go into the metro east around 2:55 here, you go all the way from Pontoon Beach down to Columbia, Illinois. You have a pretty steady rain, and it's been fairly steady throughout much of the evening. That back edge getting closer. It was in Union. Now it's drifting into St. Clair. But areas west and southwest of St. Louis, 1.5 to 2 inches or more of rainfall. Live look down in Arnold right now. You can see it's definitely raining at this point. And yes, with the rain, temperatures backed off a bit. We're now at 54 degrees. That's our new low for the day. 9400ths in the rain gauge at Lambert so far. A little more yet to come before the back edge of this gets in. This pretty expansive, about 5-6 hour band of rain that we've been dealing with will push away overnight. The residual scattered showers and rumbles of thunder out in western Missouri will fall apart before they can really do much for us. And yes, there is some snow to be found across parts of Nebraska and into Kansas. Temperatures in those areas have dropped back into the 20s and 30s. By tomorrow morning, we're going to be looking at temperatures sliding back into the 40s, maybe even a few 30s north and west of St. Louis towards 8:30, 9 o'clock. And here we are at lunchtime tomorrow. We're still above 50 southeast of St. Louis, but going to the west and northwest, stuck in the lower 40s with clouds and a breeze tomorrow afternoon. It will not feel especially pleasant and spring-like tomorrow. So far, the heaviest rain has been 1 to 2 inches out to the west of St. Louis and about 1 inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch in the metro area. That'll wind down tonight. The clouds will break up late tomorrow. And then as we head into Wednesday morning, we're going to be talking about temperatures in the 20s to around freezing. So that is problematic in terms of the potential for a hard freeze. So you have the potential for a hard freeze, maybe some frost even Thursday morning before we warm up a bit heading into Easter weekend. But big changes are coming after being in the mid to upper 60s today.
Yeah, all right. Scott, thanks.
Frank's next with sports.
Well, the Blues had an absolute thriller. The Cardinals had a collision, and SLU basketball has some drama. And we're going to play hit and run with Terry Bradshaw.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
A loss doesn't end your chances of making the playoffs for the Blues, but if you win this game tonight against the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the path would get a whole lot easier. Nick Leddy honored for playing his 1,000th NHL game. Braden Shen was courageous in a fight with Braden McNabb, who's 6'4", 215. Bad news in the second. Oscar Sundqvist gets squashed and left the game with that dreaded lower body injury. 5 minutes to go. Shen across to Brandon Saad, his 23rd. We are tied at 1. The game went to overtime. 49 seconds in. Who's guarding Jonathan Marchessault? Nobody. Vegas wins 2-1. Blues get a point. They trail Las Vegas by 5 for the last playoff spot.
They're a good team. We played them hard, and we're going to carry the momentum, over to the next game. And this team isn't going to quit fighting, and we're going to go all the way to the finish, and still believe in here we make playoffs.
Taking flight. Card Spring Training, sponsored by Wood Basement Systems.
Cubs and Cards in Arizona. This is the story of the day for the Birds. Nick Horner in the second. Line drive to right center. Jordan Walker and Dylan Carlson collide. Carlson left the game immediately. Ali Marmol says left shoulder, hip, ankle are all sore. X-rays will determine the next step. Cards won the game 6-3. The $64,000 question in St. Louis sports is, does St. Louis U hire this man, Josh Schertz, the head coach at Indiana State? Florida Atlantic University has an opening. Schertz went there. He has friends there. Louisville is still looking for a coach too, and reports tonight Schertz tops their list also. Missouri State has found their man. Conzo Martin has taken the job, and that is where he began his career. The 52-year-old has 264 career wins and 4 NCAA tourney appearances. Conzo is also one of the finest gentlemen you will ever meet. Caitlin Clark in Iowa hosted West Virginia. Caitlin had it going, 32 points, 8 boards, and 3 assists. And then from Edwardsville, there's Kate Martin. She rebounded a Clark miss for the bucket and won. Iowa is on to the Sweet 16 after a 64-54 win. According to reports, former Mizzou forward Jonte Porter is the subject of a gambling probe conducted by the NBA. At issue are prop bets involving the Raptors' big man over a 2-month period. Porter has missed Toronto's last 2 games for personal reasons. We often play hit and run with a sports celebrity. It's rapid fire Q&A, and they don't come bigger than Terry Bradshaw. With the help of editor Tom Stasiak, we give you tonight's segment. Brady, Montana, or Mahomes?
Brady.
How would your Steeler steel curtain defense do against our greatest show on turf offense in St. Louis?
We would have been great because we were fast. We were fast and aggressive, and we blitzed well. We covered man. We remember bump and run was taken away from the NFL because of Pittsburgh Steelers corners. That's why after 5 yards, you have to turn them loose. We could have played with, if you're fast, we're faster.
No football in this world, you would have done what with your career?
I would have been a farmer.
One teammate you would choose to protect your daughters?
Joe. Mean Joe Creve.
Most embarrassing moment ever for you on live television?
My zipper was open on the Tonight Show, and I'm up there doing my monologue because Jay Leno let me do a stand-up routine, and I'm up there and I'm doing this, and my fly's wide open, and the audience is just howling. So what am I thinking? Woo! I am so good. They love what I'm doing, and I'm just getting it. So I turn around to get acknowledgement and the okay, you're doing good look from Jay Leno. He's holding a sign up. Your fly is open.
When you leave this earth, how would Terry Bradshaw like to be remembered?
I'm going out on angel's wings, I hope. Be remembered just a good guy. I just want to be a good guy to everybody. I try so hard just to be a good person and to be kind and respectful and not take my celebrity status and I'm better than you because I played football or on television. I just want everybody to say, God, he was such a nice guy. That's it. That's all I could ask for.
And to illustrate that, before we did the interview, I said, what have you been doing all day? He says, well, you can see I'm not really well dressed. I've been cooking for my crew that works on my ranch. So he cooks them dinner.
Oh, that's great.
That's what kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
What a nice
Pretty
guy.
sweet. Yep.
And
Loved it.
He's funny.
Thanks, Frank.
Okay, supplies mean eclipsed by the eclipse. The personal need being wiped out by next month's celestial event. Ruby Lee has booked a big summer gig. The voice runner-up from Foley, Missouri, will perform at the Missouri State Fair. The teen yodeling sensation will perform with country singer Tracy Lawrence on the grandstand August 13th. Tickets go on sale in May. They start at $35.
Okay, if you're in need of a portable toilet, you may be out of luck for the next few weeks. Demand is high because of next month's total eclipse. A company that services southeast Missouri and northern Arkansas, which is in the path of totality, says it's started taking orders 4 years ago. And they have so many orders to fill, they're already delivering this week. Fortunately, the eclipse doesn't last that long.
No.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight